up again. He's been with the Academy of Chinese Culture. Sorry about that. You were a professor there, and I've asked you here today because I wanted to speak to you about a recent story I broke about while in the past we've faced some Chinese nationalist candidates like Simon Zhou before. Today we have a new one, and it's his campaign ad that I wanted to show you. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Chris.
And despite growing up in China and Hong Kong, something that struck me is that you campaigned on a platform of multiculturalism and harmony that I saw on those signs. Um, what made you run in politics? What made you step forward and say, "I need to run," while Simon Zhou is running as well?
Yes, in the last election, many people know why I ran as a candidate for the last year's election. But this time, I think there's something different. Simon Zhou is not running again. Felix Low is not running again. So now I face some new other candidates. So I think it's a bit different from the election last time. Um, I also asked me why I run as a candidate this time. Actually, I can tell you a secret that before just at the deadline of the enrollment for as a candidate, once I consider to withdraw. So it's a very interesting. But the New South Wales Electoral Commission, they did not approve me to withdraw, and then I keep on just run as a candidate.
And so you decided you'd run as a candidate. Sorry, I think we skimmed over that. Something about that you were asked to withdraw. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Yeah,
Something about you
actually,
were
I
asked to withdraw.
once considered to withdraw because why I participate in this by-election. In the very beginning, I just worry if there's any other candidate with pro-Beijing background to run again. But uh, just close to the closing day of the enrollment, and then I found that there's no other candidate with a very strong pro-Beijing background. So I once consider I can withdraw, but
You considered to withdraw.
actually I really sign the withdrawal form and submit the withdrawal form to New South Wales Electoral Commission, and then they say, the other day they phoned me. They said that the deadline is on the 12th of I forgot what day is it. It's a Wednesday, and the deadline is 12 at noon. And then they said that they received my form uh, at night, so they can't approve my withdrawal. And then on Wednesday, I forgot what day is it. On Wednesday, Thursday, um, that's the ballot draw. And I try to ask electoral commission to remove my name from the ballot paper, but they said that they can't withdraw, they can't remove my name. So okay, I just keep on.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot there to talk about, but you're running in this election despite some of the shenanigans around that. And why I asked you on today was a story I broke just earlier, which is your Liberal opponent, Justin Lee. Now, Justin Lee is used to serve on council and operates the Humans of Eastwood Facebook page, which is a cultural force in our area, um, with a large Facebook and TikTok presence. Um, it's seen as even recognised in Parliament by the previous MP John Alexander. It was even mentioned that it's so significant. But now it's an authorised by. So it's honestly for the new candidate Justin Lee as his platform as a town crier, as he self describes himself. But what grabbed us was if I can play this. I'm going to play this. I'm going to ask if you can give me your reaction to what you see here, which is his campaign advertisement, especially
Okay.
the voiceover. Please.
澳大利亚，南半球的岛国，作为一个拥有多元文化的西方国家，很多亚裔人民在这里生活、学习、工作。而随着中国改革开放的深入发展，国力日渐强大，这些在海外打拼的华人也因为祖国的富强而越来越受到澳洲政府的重视。有位能代表华人心声的政府人员尤为重要，李颖斌正是这样的一员之一。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you all want to take a seat, welcome to the launch of the 2018 Eastwood Lunar New Year celebration, and this year will be the year of the dog.
Chris, I can't hear.
What did we just watch there, Dr. Lin Bin? Tell me, what was your reaction?
Oh, about the video.
Yeah.
I can't agree with what the description about Chinese people in Australia. The video said that China becomes stronger and stronger, and then so the Chinese people support the Chinese government each other. So I don't agree with this description, because I know maybe not all the Chinese people, but some of the Chinese migrants, why they come to Australia, because they don't like the authority of Beijing, because they try to control everything in China, also in Hong Kong. So they, part of the Chinese migrants do not like this dictatorship. So that's why, including me, that's why I migrate to Australia.
Tell me, as if I can ask you again, what was your personal reaction to seeing this? Like, seeing this for the first time, how did you respond?
The first moment when I watched this video, I think this is maybe produced by someone with Beijing background Chinese. I think maybe, I'm not sure, I just guess. So I think maybe the producer of this video, they try to attract the Chinese migrant from mainland China to support Liberal. Maybe they try to.
Did you expect? Is this the messaging that Justin Lee has put out previously? Has Justin Lee? Were you surprised that this was coming out of Justin Lee's campaign?
Actually, I'm very surprised about this video, and some years ago, I'm a supporter of Justin Lee when he was an independent councillor in Ryde Council. I vote for Justin Lee. Now, this time in this by-election, he ran as a Liberal candidate, and I also talked with Justin Lee and also talked with other Liberal, and we just have a very good relationship. But now I watch this video, I think there's a very wrong statement about Chinese in Australia. So maybe I will try to talk to Justin Lee or Liberal about this video. I will try to talk to them.
What is it that's wrong in this video? What is it that you feel is wrong?
For example, why I came to Australia in 1991. I already lived in Australia over 30 years. Actually, I don't like the dictatorship of the Chinese Communist Party, how they control everything in China and control everything in Hong Kong. I don't like this dictatorship. That's why I moved to live in Australia. So
But
that's
this video, nowhere in this video does it say that they want to control everything, and nowhere in this video does it mention a social credit system or anything like that. This doesn't say that. So how do you connect having a government official who can represent the voice of the Chinese people, or
okay. We go
its
to
national
the
power is growing stronger? How do you connect that with the authoritarian tendency? How are you putting those two together?
yeah, because the wordings of this video is said that China become stronger. China is a strong country after the reform, the economic reform, and then now let's see, go to the wordings. Let's see.
Its national power is growing stronger. I'll pause that for you there. But is this part?
Yeah. So I think on the one hand, the Beijing government is stronger and stronger, but this is some kind of dictatorship. It's not the Chinese people stronger. So we have different opinions. So that's why I do not agree with this description in this video. So he said that with the deepened development of the reform and opening up of China, but actually now the Chinese authority try to control everything. So this sentence is totally wrong. He said that with the deepened development of reform and opening up of China, but now the Chinese government, they already stopped the reform and they already stopped the opening.
I think perhaps they might just mean the commercial opening up of China, but your concerns seem to be about the social, cultural, political opening up of China that many believed would eventually flow with a free market system. Hasn't happened. Democracy hasn't come further as some may have hoped. There has been some opening up in terms of technology. You're able to speak more freely than ever, but then there's the flip side of that many commentators view China as being able to speak less than ever. But regardless of all of this, that's over there. We're here in Australia. And that's the point that I want to raise here is that with this messaging,
But I think
why would they be appealing to the Chinese people? Again, Dr. Lin, how would you describe yourself? Are you the Chinese people, or how would you describe yourself?
this is very difficult to describe what I am, because some time ago when I was young, actually I was born in mainland China, but when I was 2 years old, and then my grandparents brought me to grow up in Hong Kong. So I studied my primary and also high school in Hong Kong. So it's very complicated. So at that moment, I believe I am Chinese. I'm Chinese, and but I think around 1997 up to present, I found I had another identity. I believe I am a Hong Konger. I'm not. Um, um, so it's very difficult to give a definition of what is a Chinese. So when I discuss with my Hong Kong friends, and they don't like to use Chinese, the term Chinese to describe us. So we just say that we are Hong Konger. This is our true identity.
So you are. Is there any point? Can I ask? Is there a point where you would describe yourself as Australian?
Yeah, I'm totally Australian now because I got Australian passport. I got the Australian nationality, but I will tell the people that I'm Australian with Hong Kong background. This is very clear.
Australian with
Australian
Hong
with
Kong
Hong Kong background.
characteristics. Would I say with Hong Kong characteristics? Would I say?
Yes, you can say that. Yeah.
Can I or mention with what we're seeing here is the question around is referring to represent the voice of the Chinese people, having a government official. Is Justin Lee Chinese or is he Australian?
Wow. This is also a very difficult question. I think Justin Lee is Australian, but also he said that he got Hong Kong background, and also
This is
he is
very
a
complex.
Chinese.
This is very
Yeah, very
complex, isn't it?
complicated. So it's not a simple question. I can't give you
Why
a
is this
very
not a
simple answer.
why is this not a simple question? And this is the struggle that people often speak about having French, German, American heritage background, but after a few years here and after a time, certainly if they've spent a lot of time here, they no longer identify as French, German, or British. They say they've become Australian. But within the Chinese community, that's not so much. Even speaking with yourself here, there's kind of, oh, you Hong Konger or Chinese, but you are Australian. And with Justin Lee as well, there's that discussion. Why is this so hard and a question to try and answer?
Yeah, I remember just recently when I once talked with Justin, and he mentioned that he has got Hong Kong background, so he will protect the interests of Hong Kong people. So, but in other terms, he said that he's Chinese, and so it's very complicated. But
Hold
I
on,
give you
Justin
another.
Lee said that he is a Hong Konger and would represent the Hong Kong interests to you, but we have this ad coming out of him where he's speaking about strength of a motherland and representing the voice of the Chinese people.
Yeah, I know. So
Which is it? Which is the real Justin Lee?
I think it's better you ask Justin Lee to see what is his answer give to you.
Well, which do you think is the real Justin Lee? Which one? Do you think what we're seeing here with this narrative that he's got on his website? Do you think what he says on his website here and this is where it was found on his Chinese language website, and that's where it is just there. You can go and see it for yourself. It'll probably get taken down after this, but I got a copy. But which is the real Justin Lee here to you, in your view?
To me, wow, this is very complicated. I think Justin Lee, I think he was born in Australia. So in the first place, he's Australian, but he got a Hong Kong background. His family come from Hong Kong, but he also is Chinese, especially in this video. So he emphasized in this video, just emphasize the Chinese background. So it's very complicated. It is the same for me. So, but I can tell the people that I'm Australian with Hong Kong background. So now I seldom to mention Chinese background because it's very complicated. But look, like my two children were born in Australia. They know that they are totally Australian. They seldom to mention they are Chinese or Hong Kong. They are Australian. My two children are Australian.
They'd identify themselves as Australian. So you're, I guess you would call it second generation. The children who are born here, educated in Australia, they wouldn't feel that they're Hong Kongers or Chinese in that way. They wouldn't identify that way.
Actually, it's very interesting. My two sons, especially the elder one, actually he doesn't like Chinese. He doesn't like Chinese, so he emphasized he is Australian.
He identifies as Australian, but the question was he would not identify as Chinese is more what we're trying to get to. So because key in this line is representing the voice of the Chinese people, and that's where would your son not just identify as Australian? That's clear, but would he identify himself as Chinese?
For my son, I don't think my son will identify
No?
himself
Okay.
as a Chinese. I don't think so. I think
Okay.
he
Nice.
just emphasize he's Australian.
Identify as Australian and only Australian. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
So
only
that's
Australian.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
many times he mentioned to me he doesn't like Chinese.
Yep.
He doesn't
This
like
this is
Chinese.
the and this is the concern many people are having through this is when they see if a Muslim person, for example, would look at this, they'd question, can Justin Lee represent the Islamic community in Ride? And the question is, if he's appealing to a particular ethnicity, that's the debate around trying to make multiculturalism work, is can someone of a different ethnicity represent someone else? Can someone of a different identity represent someone else? And the journey we're going through is, we think so, we hope so, and the concerns come up when we see someone trying to appeal to, anyone would say, with the development and opening up of Britain, and now the hardworking Americans overseas, thanks to the wealth and strength of the United States and Texas, are increasingly getting recognized and represent the voice of the American people in a terrible accent. That's where the concern I would suggest many people in Rwanda would have as much about a foreign Texan influence group as they would elsewhere. Would you be concerned about an Islamic group that has said we want to represent the voice of the Iraqi, Middle Eastern, Arab people? Can you see the same concern with a different group there?
Yeah, so this time when I run as a candidate for this by-election, I also mentioned that I'm the independent voice for all people, not only for Chinese, not only for Hong Kong people, not only for Asians. So I'm the independent voice for all kind of people.
Great. Yeah, that's a broad-based message that the journey of multiculturalism is trying to get there, and that was your concern with Simon. Let me just check a couple of messages here. At some point, so Roy has a question about national sovereignty. At what point is it compromised? And there's a fair point, questioning if you're representing someone else's sovereignty, whether that's British, American, or Chinese. That's a fair question. What do you think about that?
Actually, I already live in Australia over 30 years, and I live in Eastwood over 20 years. I got many friends from all kinds of background. I got friends from Hong Kong background, Chinese background, and also Indian background, and also Sri Lankan background, Korean background, and white background, European background. I remember last time when I try to hang out the leaflet, I met Italian background resident here, and then I just sing a song, the O Sole Mio, because I learned this Italian song some years ago. So I just sing with the Italian resident here in Eastwood.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask another one? Chime Lee is here saying that being Australian is not an ethnic group, whereas being Chinese is. Would you agree with that statement? What do you think about that?
Sorry, I can't hear clearly.
Being Australian is not an ethnic group. Being Chinese is. What do you think about that statement?
I know here only the Aboriginal people, they are native Australian. But now, because the population in Australia, it combined with all kind of people, so I hope so. That's why I support multiculturalism in Australia here. I think now, because the fact is many migrants come from all other countries, so that's why I emphasize multiculturalism. And I also joined the Multicultural Advisory Committee since 2019. So, and when after I joined the committee, we have run the Harmony Day every year. We just try to ask all kind of people come together to make friends with each other and join the Harmony Festival together.
Ian points out that it's more important to note how other people identify you rather than you identify yourself. So there's there's an interesting one. You don't have to jump in on that one because I know that we're just about to run out of
It's a
time on
very
that one because
interesting question. Yeah,
it is an
I also
interesting. It
want
is
to
an
know
interesting
how
one.
the other people identify me.
Yeah, other people. How other people identify you. He also said, well done, trying to build bridges rather than representing an individual or specific group. Trying to say something else. So, Dr. Limbit, I know you need to go. We've captured 25 minutes. Thanks for your time. You're
Yeah.
running for council in Ryde. You're always looking for support there. When is the election and how do people support you?
Yeah, thank you, Chris, and thank you all the friends. Thank you, the supporters. Thank you very much. Thank you.